What's good, y'all? What up? What up? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. Shout out to the Mighty LDBC. Y'all know what it is. Your boy Jared 011 Green. Of course, I have my brothers, my panel on the show with me. Brent Fox, he's at work, so he couldn't make it, but he's listening, always supporting. Appreciate you, brother. Matter of fact, he's got the message on the job, but still supporting. Appreciate you, man. Uh, but Coach 67, how's everything going, bro?
Man, peace and blessings to y'all, gentlemen, this afternoon. All is well. I'm blessed and highly favored. How y'all gentlemen doing?
Can't complain. Can't complain at all, man. You know, we still going, man. Fortunate to see another day. And JB, how's your day going?
As you said, man, blessed to see another day. Blessed to have another show. Let's get it, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, everything, been, it's the off season in the NFL and spring practice have started in college football. So a lot of ball clubs in the college realm are trying to see where they got as far as talent. All the portal recruits and recruits are being scouted to see who's going to start. So it's an exciting time. But nothing's really going on as far as overall. So we're going to just choose to have an open topic today, open sports topic in the beginning. Just we can chop it up about anything, basketball, college or NBA or football or some of the signings. Matter of fact, I'm going to start with this. What did y'all think about DK Metcalf going to the Steelers, bro?
You go first, JB.
Um, I hated it, despised it, didn't like it. I hope it don't succeed, but um, I think this is good for the Steelers. They got another weapon for Pickens. Hopefully he'll stop complaining and crying about him not getting the ball. Now he got somebody that is going to help him open him up, so the eyes won't be all on him.
Yeah.
On the defensive side. So it was a good signing for Pittsburgh. Now all they need is a quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers signed with them, right?
With Pittsburgh?
I know he was in the running for the Pittsburgh job. I think it was between Pittsburgh and the New York Giants, but I hadn't heard that he signed with anyone yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they still ain't got no quarterback. Do they still got Russell or no?
Yeah,
He's a free agency.
I think he's in the running between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns because with Deshaun Watson situation, look like his career could be done. If he is coming back, he's gonna be MIA for a while.
Okay. Well, hope it don't succeed.
And this is coming from a Baltimore Ravens fan. Coach, what was your thoughts? And salute to J Bar, salute family. Let's get it, yes sir.
Well, I wasn't shocked because Debo Samuels got traded to the Commanders. With the pass rusher for the Cowboys. What his name is? Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence, yeah.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Lawrence, excuse me.
DeMarcus Lawrence, he let them ride. So I'm not shocked, but like y'all said, I mean, to me, I think the only way it would have made sense is if you would have been able to keep Fields, but he ended up signing with the Jets, so the quarterback situation is uncertain. But like Brent Fox said on his show, It's Just Me, starring Brent Fox. I think the Steelers rely a lot on defense in a good running game, even though their running back and quarterback situation is kind of up in the air. I think they're gonna be straight as long as they get the right signal caller. I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers in no way, shape, form, or fashion because in Aaron Rodgers' mind, he's still a guy that was in Green Bay, but he's not that guy anymore. But he's still acting like the same diva. So
Right.
I wouldn't sign him. I try to see if I could beat out the Cleveland Browns and bring Russell Wilson back and maybe draft you a young quarterback. But I think it was a good move pending the quarterback situation.
Right. I agree, man. They definitely need a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is not it. Even though Russell Wilson is a competent quarterback, he did help them win games last year, but you could obviously see last year that they need to definitely go younger. So this will never happen. But the thought somebody brought, I was listening to a podcast, sports podcast, and somebody brought this up, and I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think he's gonna make it this far in the draft. We just speak again, fellas. This is hypothetically. What if Shador Sanders gets drafted by Pittsburgh? How you think he'll fit?
It shouldn't be possible.
I know
If
it's
any
not
of them
possible,
teams
but
in the top five
I know
got
it's
some
not
sense,
possible. I know it's not possible. Hypothetically, how you think he'll fit?
I think
Now,
that the Steelers would be a scary team. Under Mike Tomlin, you get a dude like Shador Sanders under Mike Tomlin. That's going to be a scary dynamic that I don't want to think about.
Honestly, I'm gonna go in a different direction. I don't think Shador would want to go to Pittsburgh because it's not one of those glamorous markets.
good point.
Deion had already kind of put it out there like, hey, we're not going to know any team. I don't think, even though they have a black quarterback, I think that would move. In that regard, Deion would be in favor of that, but Pittsburgh is not one of those glamorous type cities nor markets. I think he probably would be more interested in playing for the Giants or, a more high profile type team. I don't think he would be interested in going to Pittsburgh, me truthfully speaking. Especially the way CC talked about Pittsburgh on her show.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Oh man.
yeah. I don't think Shador would be interested in going to Pittsburgh, truthfully speaking.
Okay. And JB, that's how I was coming from. No, it's not going to happen.
Okay, I see. I
I'm just
see where
speaking
you were going.
yeah. But yeah, yeah, he's definitely going to a New York or Las Vegas type market, which I know Big Joe will be happy. His former Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, finally get a quarterback. My only thing is if he goes to one of them teams, they need for the rest of the draft O-line. For the rest of the draft O-line. That's just me personally. And then everything else you can figure out in free agency. But JB, I'm gonna go to you. What did you think about DeAndre Hopkins going to the Ravens? How did you like that signing?
I think it's a very Baltimore Ravens pick. Even though I love it, but in reality, the Ravens is just doing what they've been doing for years. Is picking receivers in their 30s that teams move on from that think they're washed up. We did the same thing with Steve Smith and Anquan Bolton, Derek Mason, and all those cats. And now we got DeAndre Hopkins. The only thing is, Are we going to get the same production like we got from the Anquan Boltons, the Derek Masons, the Steve Smith seniors, or is he going to end up like a Jeremy Macklin? You know, um, Dez Bryant. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. I think you know he has a lot of juice left. I think he couldn't put up the numbers he wanted to in Kansas City because Kansas we know now because of the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City had an O line problem. Um, so Pat Mahomes couldn't sling the rock around the field like he usually does because he didn't have enough time. All he just was doing was checking downs, short routes, and finding Kelsey. Playing backyard football with Kelsey. But as far as his production with us, I hope he. I think this is might be a 600, 700 yard production for him, and probably about I'd say 7 touchdowns this year.
Okay, hopefully so, man. Hopefully so, man. And got my Baltimore Ravens brothers coming in here, 86 goats. Ravens trying to make me a Steelers fan if they get a quarterback. Just trying to tell you. Jay Barr said, ask Coach 67 how he thinks the Saints did in free agency. And then before you answer that, Coach, my boy, the Roll Pie, Hendo, always support and appreciate you, brother. Said, happy Sunday, brother. But yeah, Coach, Jay Barr asked the question, how
Well,
he thinks Saints did.
what? Let me answer both questions. First, in terms of DeAndre Hopkins, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction. I think it could be a game changer. Uh, I mean, I'm not expecting the type of production that he had when he was with the Cardinals. I don't think he's that kind of guy. But I think if you can get a healthy Lamar Jackson, a healthy Derrick Henry, and a healthy DeAndre Hopkins, leading up to maybe the AFC Championship game, man, I think that could be a game changer. Especially if, they do what they're supposed to do and they give Derrick Henry the ball like they should. And DeAndre Hopkins could kind of show flashes of the guy that he once was with the Cardinals or maybe even the Texans. And he could be, especially if he could be a reliable guy instead of having your tight end, poo the bed for the biggest game of the season. I think it could be a game changer. Now, in regards to the Saints, I'm not gonna lie. I think the Saints are having an absolutely trash off season. I ain't gonna lie. I said this when the off season started. I said that the Saints need to get rid. Gail Benson needs to get rid of Mickey Loomis, and she needs to get rid of Derek Carr. That was the first two things I said coming into the off season. However, I think kind of like Sean Payton before he ended up retiring and moving on. I think since Mickey Loomis has done so much for the organization in terms of bringing them their first Super Bowl, I think he was in good with Tom Benson before he passed, and now his widow, Gail Benson, who's the owner of both the Saints and the Pelicans, he's in so good with them he can kind of write his own ticket and call his own shot. I think that's a dangerous position for him to be in, considering the fact that the NFL is a what have you done for me lately type of league. And truthfully speaking, he ain't done jack nothing for a long time. The last real good draft he had, he drafted Lattimore, Ramczyk, and Kamara. Ramczyk retired. Lattimore just about done. Kamara got a little juice left in the tank, but, he not the young, spry guy that he once was. So the issue I have with the Saints is Mickey Loomis went all in like he had a playoff contender, a Super Bowl contender type team. And, you gave Chase Young bad money. I mean, I like Jawan Johnson, but I think they overpaid for him. They were able to restructure Derek Carr's deal and Taysom Hill deal. But a lot of these guys they picking up, I'm like, bro, these would be good moves if you were a Super Bowl contender. But the Saints are not that at this point. I really think it would have been in their best interest had they not gave, even though I love Cam Jordan has seen his better days as a Saint. When they gave him the bad deal you gave him, and Demario Davis and Tyrann Mathieu, some of these guys have restructured their contract, but the way he's kind of gone all in like this, some kind of damn Super Bowl contender. And me, I think you're at the point now where you need to reset button. You need to blow it up. You need to get rid of all them old cats on your defense like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis and Tyrann Mathieu. Get rid of all of them older cats. And, offensively, Cesar Ruiz, they restructured his deal. Eric McCoy. Like, really outside of Eric McCoy, he really kind of was the only rock-solid offensive lineman I felt they had. Once he got hurt, the season kind of went downhill. Really, the Saints were 2-0, and Eric McCoy and Taysom Hill. There are a lot of injuries all at the same time. But at the same token, without a dominant run game and a dominant defense, Derek Carr is a trash quarterback, and he showed. They was 2-0 when the season started. They had an impressive week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. They had an impressive game against the Cowboys week 2. But Eric McCoy got hurt against the Eagles, and the Eagles did an excellent job because they knew without the running game that the Saints wasn't hitting on nothing, Derek Carr in particular. And then Taysom Hill got hurt the week before, and all of those things was a bad combination. They went on a 7-game losing streak. But for you to bring the band back together like you some kind of Super Bowl contender, I think it goes to show you how trash a job Mickey Loomis has been doing for years now. Like Marvin Hagler once said about Sugar Ray Leonard, it's hard for you to be motivated when you're sleeping on silk sheets every night. And it's at the point now, Mickey Loomis has developed, and he's kind of garnered so much cachet with the organization. He's not the general manager that he once was. He a fat cat. He ain't good with ownership. So he kind of untouchable at this point. I think that's a bad position. I think the Saints going to continue to go down unless they get rid of him first.
Okay. Salute to Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. He says salute everybody. And if y'all have any questions, man, this is the open sports topic part of segment. Please ask, man. We'll definitely talk about it. But the Saints are definitely moving slow for some reason as far as trying to go after not moving with a sense of urgency. That's what I want to say. As far as selecting the right pieces in free agency.
You got to realize, one of the issues that myself and other Saints fans have with Mickey Loomis is it was cool when you had Drew Brees and you could say, hey, we really kind of trying to compete for the Super Bowl and win a championship. What would happen is, since you was going all in every year, when the season over, you're 100, 150, 50, 30, whatever. You so many $1 million over the salary cap. Basically he had that common policy mindset when common policy had, Joe Montana and Steve Young and Jerry Rice and Ricky Waters. You had all of these dogs for the 49ers. You would take the cap hits and the cap penalties later, and you just kind of over the cap every year. And Mickey Loomis and the Saints are perpetually in that state. But you no longer have Drew Brees. You're no longer a Super Bowl contender. It's no sense for you to be so far over the cap every year. So that's part of the reason why, like, the Saints really can't get no super big name free agents. Of course, the free agents they prioritize on their own, like Chase Young. They want to make sure he didn't leave and go to like a division rival like the Atlanta Falcons. So they brought him back. But my issue is, like, if you're a Super Bowl contender, I would be cool with them going all in every year and say, all right, hey, we're just going to pay all the players we need to pay now. And then next season, we're going to be $150, $100 million over the salary cap. That's cool in that instance. But you don't have that team. Realistically, you kind of in no man's land. You're not bad enough to be a team that's going to get the number 1, number 2 overall pick in the draft. But you're not a playoff contender or Super Bowl contender. Anything like that, whether you're in the NFL or the NBA, you're kind of in limbo. You're in no man's land. At that point, you just might well take a stick of dynamite to your team and blow it up, because you won't be bad enough to bring in some franchise caliber changing caliber type players where, hey, you could get you a franchise quarterback like a Jaden Daniels that could turn the fortunes of your franchise around. I really think they need to kind of use that formula and blueprint that the Commanders and the Texans and teams like that use. You get your nice young franchise quarterback. Who knows? That guy might be in the building already, but you had so many injuries on your team. You really couldn't tell. But at the end of the day, like they just need to go in a different direction. I think they're in limbo at this point. You $100 million over the cap every offseason when the offseason starts. That's stupid to me unless you're a Super Bowl contender.
I hear you, man. Um, salute to J Bar. He says, "How do y'all feel about my Colts signing Daniel Jones? I hated it. It was a terrible signing. Yes, it was. Starting with JB, how you feel about that signing?
I think he's a bridge gap QB for Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson, I assume, is your guy's future quarterback, franchise quarterback. Um, he showed, last year he was a little bit immature. But I mean that's normal, really. Most QBs have to mature. Um, but I think Daniel Jones is just there to be like a mentor for um, uh, Anthony Richardson. And hey, there's nothing wrong with Daniel Jones being a backup QB. He's not a bad backup QB. He's just not a starter. Um, I think y'all just trying to see what y'all got out of Anthony Richardson because y'all could have went and got an actual starter. You understand what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
somebody that's gonna actually beat him out, like a Justin Fields. I
mm,
don't think Daniel Jones is gonna beat Anthony Richardson out. So I think this shows that y'all want Anthony Richardson to be you guys starter, and it's up to him. Now, if he mess around and lose his job to Daniel Jones, then oof.
yeah, that's pretty bad. Uh, Coach, what's your thoughts?
I kind of echo JB's sentiments first and foremost. I thought it was a terrible ass trash signing, truthfully speaking. But I think it really was more of a stopgap solution. Me, I kind of be more of a proponent of bringing in somebody like a James Winston or Teddy Two Gloves. Now you already know how I feel about black quarterbacks, black head coaches. But to
Hmm.
me, I think Daniel Jones, he another one. Like he maybe a change of scenery might do him good. Like maybe like a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield type guy. So change of scenery might do him good, but at the same token, uh, if Anthony Richardson is not what they think he is, I don't think I don't think Daniel Jones will be the solution. But like JB said, I think he probably a stopgap solution or insurance policy. Hey, if Anthony Richardson is not that guy, then maybe you bring Daniel Jones in. But to me, you know, I know a lot of teams overpaying for QBs in this offseason, like maybe like like Fields or whoever. But looking at some a team like the Atlanta Falcons, and you see this stuff with all this bad money with Kirk Cousins. You don't want to put yourself in that type of situation where you overpay for a stopgap solution, and then you're like, all right, hey, we want our heir apparent guy, our guy of the future to take the reins, and you're like, all right, hey, now we stuck with this overpriced ass backup. You don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, and Francel Production said a lot of teams don't stay together long enough to grow their chemistry. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. And salute to Francel Productions. Appreciate you supporting. Um, Big Reg, host of Big Boy Talk. I need to give you a wrench, but he says I feel like the better fit for AR would have been Russell Wilson. I agree. He can start, but he has a winning history and knowledge he can provide AR. I agree. That's what Joe Flacco was supposed to do. I think, to be honest with you, Joe Flacco. I hope AR was taking notes. Even though Joe Flacco was eventually benched, Joe Flacco is a Super Bowl champion and he's considered a winning quarterback. So I hope I can imagine that conversations was had during practice between AR and Joe Flacco. So hope AR was taking notes.
Hold up, bro. Hold up. Let's rewind it. You said Joe Flacco, a Super Bowl quarterback, winning quarterback. He is, but when it comes to him, I would use that term lightly. That's like saying Trent Dilfer is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I think it kind of fit hand in hand with those two guys, you know.
Nah,
Hey,
nah, nah. Joe, nah, I'm a Joe Flacco. You talking to a Joe Flacco fan here? Joe Flacco is a winning quarterback. He sometimes he will throw some picks, but he won games for us here in
Man,
Baltimore.
hey,
And for Baltimore. But Trent
and last year,
Dilfer,
what he did for the Browns.
I agree. I agree 100% about Trent Dilfer. He's a Super Bowl quarterback, winning quarterback. No, you can't win no games with Trent Dilfer if you don't have an elite defense. You know,
well,
so
I mean, hey. You have Trent Dilfer proponents that was like, hey, look what he did when he was with Tampa Bay Bucks. So that's the point I'm trying to make. You know, I, I know y'all are Ravens fans. Y'all might have a different perspective of Joe Flacco than me. I always thought he was a little bit overrated, truthfully speaking.
You can win with Joe Flacco. That's our point. You can win with Joe.
that's
Look what the
not
Browns
going.
did
Now I'm not
last year.
going. Right, I'm not going to say he's top 10,
No, heck
top
no,
15.
heck no.
I'm saying he's a good quarterback. That's it. That's
Man,
all.
hey, I wouldn't have took Joe Flacco on the Saints. That's all I need to know.
I would have took him. Hey, I would have took him over David Carr.
Well, truthfully speaking, hey, we could go back and you could watch episodes a
uh,
year ago of Bayou Sports Talk. I wasn't a proponent of bringing Derek Carr in. Rude Dog and King Ray was like, oh man, I think he might be an upgrade of Jameis Winston. I'm like, hell no. You're going to overpay to get him, and then you're going to be stuck with him. I think they'd have been in a better situation if they just would have stuck with Jameis Winston. And truthfully speaking, it wasn't that Jameis Winston was a bad guy. Dennis Allen wasn't a huge fan of his. Anytime you got Andy Dalton starting over James Winston, I'm like, bro, y'all out y'all rabbit ass mind. So at the end of the day, I wasn't a fan. I was never high on Derek Carr. You go back and
Right.
look at Bayou Sports Talk right now, and you'll see that I was vehemently arguing with the two of them. Like, man, why the hell you gonna bring in this garbage ass boy? I'm like, dude, for what you gonna get with him, you keep Jameis Winston. When you're ready to move on from Jameis Winston, you can get you draft you a good young quarterback, and then guess what? Winston gonna do the same thing. He's just gonna be a cheaper version of Derek Carter. And I think you'd have been in a better position if you would have stuck with Jameis Winston, gave him maybe like a 1 or 2 year extension, and that way you could have pivoted and went in a different direction. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
I mean,
understand what you're
I
saying.
feel you.
even if you think your backup now could be your future franchise guy, if you still had Jameis Winston on your team, you could say, all right, well, hey, we could see, and if it don't work out, then we could stick Jameis in back in, and we could go draft another quarterback if you're not the guy, right? But hey, you don't know now because you stuck with Carr. You gave him a contract extension, and this year he was adamant that he wasn't going to restructure. You were in such a bad cap situation, he had to end up restructuring. So I'm like, bro, y'all constantly shooting yourself in the foot with Mickey Loomis at the gym.
Y'all definitely need to go in another direction. But Jay Bar said 14 million was too much money to give someone coming off a neck and ACL injuries. Yeah. Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, 14 million is definitely too much. And big.
Well, well, we talked about that like off the heels of the same conversation I had that told you that we had on Bayou Sports Talk. We talk about how a lot of these teams overpay for these mediocre quarterbacks. I'm like, I wouldn't mind giving a franchise caliber quarterback that type of cheese. But I don't know if you remember, it probably was but a year ago when the Falcons brought in Kirk Cousins,
Yeah,
and we was like,
yeah.
hell no, that's a terrible deal. But like King Ray said, probably but a year and a half ago, like if you in this situation, more than likely you're gonna have to overpay for a quarterback. Some people feel like the Jets overpaid for Fields, and I'm like, man, I think that was a good bargain for him. But somebody like a Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, or Daniel Jones, I'm like, not so much.
Okay. I definitely, I agree with that. Uh, Big Red said, he said Joe Flacco was not trying to teach these young quarterbacks. He got 47 kids. He's trying to be a starter. Yeah, because quiet as it kept, Joe Flacco when we drafted Lamar, he wasn't really trying to be that mentor role. He was trying to keep his position, but of course, Lamar's Lamar. That wasn't gonna happen.
Man, I didn't know Joe Flacco was slinging wood like that, man.
oh, oh, you don't know? Yeah, he got 111 kids, bro. So
Dang, bro, I didn't even know that.
so that's why I said I'm hoping he opened up to AR and was trying to be a mentor. But Big Red just reminded me when Lamar came in, he wasn't trying to teach Lamar nothing because he need that paper. He got a lot of kids, but anyway, um, shout out to Memphis man Anthony Bolton, man. What's good? Thank you for supporting, bro. Daniel Jones got 14 million. I'm in the business. Yeah, yeah, man. But Coach, we're going up to up your alley, man. In basketball, what's going on in the basketball world, man? I know Oklahoma Thunder and Cleveland are doing their thing. Boston is doing well. What's going on? What's going on in NBA? In
Well,
your
I'm
opinion?
not gonna lie. I know me is a NBA fan. You know, I'm definitely a hardcore NBA fan. Kind of like my Saints. It's kind of a damper when you got a team like the Pelicans who really, they a bottom feeder team. They're the worst team in their division. But the problem with having a bad team like the Pelicans is like they're not bad enough to get the number one pick to get Cooper Flag from Duke. More than likely, the Wizards, the Jazz, one of those type of teams probably gonna get Cooper Flag. And then not only that, but for somebody like me, I kind of always hated this time of year, uh, from an NBA standpoint because I'm not gonna lie, as a basketball fan, usually March Madness for me trumps like this point in the NBA regular season. The reason I say that is because really you just kind of waiting for the playoffs to start. And I'm not gonna lie, the Cavaliers and the OKC Thunder, they both doing their thing. But the problem is they're both young teams, and it's gonna be interesting to see if the success they're having right now in the regular season is it gonna translate over into the playoffs? Because usually when you have teams like that, like OKC Thunder, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, if you don't have a whole lot of veterans on their team, which they don't, for the exception of like maybe if you the Cleveland Cavaliers, like whatchamacallit, shucks, Donovan Mitchell, for the exception of somebody like that. I mean, really, both teams are kind of on the younger side. A team like that are winning the first round, winning series in the first round, and then end up, getting knocked out of the playoffs in the second round. Of course, OKC Thunder, they went a little bit further last year, but it's going to be
Right.
interesting to see, how things play out for those two teams in particular. Can Boston defend that NBA championship? What the Lakers going to do? And, major shout out to our brother Brent Fox, too, because I remember when when the Lakers and the Mavericks made that trade, and I was the first one to say, I'm like, because I heard Ticket TV and Two Raw, different cats was like, yeah, they felt like it was a good trade for the Mavericks from the standpoint of they were going to be a better defensive team. Luka, a liability defensively, woo. And my whole thing was like, yeah, all that's well and good. But Luka, like 25 years old, and this dude have been first in team on NBA like 5 times. There's no way in hell you getting rid of a player of that magnitude unless there's more going on behind the scenes. Because I told y'all the story about when Pat Swilling was like at one point the defensive player of the year in the NFL. And then like a season or two later, the Saints ended up trading to the Detroit Lions. And come to find out he had major issues with Jim Morris Sr. It didn't come out like that year or the next year. This came out like years down the line after the fact. So we felt like something was going on behind the scenes with Luka. And of course, at the time, Brent Fox was like, he really was fearing for Nico Harrison's safety. And he was like, I'm not saying that, hey, Brent Fox going to try to do something to Nico Harrison. He was like, man, this dude been getting death threats and this, that, and the third. And of course, since that point, Anthony Davis came. The first game he played with the Mavericks, he got hurt. And then you got Derek Lively second, he hurt. Daniel Gafford hurt. PJ Washington hurt. It's to the point now where literally, and I'm not making this up, where, due to their lack of depth and NBA rules, like Dallas Mavericks could potentially forfeit games because they have so many injured players at this point. So I think them getting rid of Luka, it kind of had like a domino effect from the standpoint of, like, you got a lot of players that started getting hurt after that. I'm not saying they intentionally got hurt, but I think when you make such a terrible deal like that, I'm not a superstitious person. Of course, we kind of talked about it today in Sunday school and church. Like, I really don't believe in superstition. However, I think something like that, when you make that type of bad trade, it kind of brings a lot of bad energy with it. And you had the domino effect of that is, you done had a lot of injuries. So at this point, I'm ready for March Madness to start in the college realm, and then that be over, and then get to the playoffs for the NBA. Because to me, as an NBA fan, it's kind of like the antsy time of the year. I'm like, hey, I'm ready to get this regular season over and get to the playoffs.
Okay. But real fast, who you think is gonna make it far in the playoffs or win it all this year?
It's kind of difficult to say because you have so many different factors and variables. But I'm not gonna lie, out of the East, I think a lot of people have money on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Some people believe the New York Knicks are a dark horse. Me personally, I think the champs are champs until somebody beat them. So in the East, I'm rolling with the Boston Celtics. Coming out West, the West is definitely the more difficult conference in terms of being more unpredictable. A lot of people got money on Oklahoma City Thunder. I really don't believe in them. A lot of people got confidence in the Lakers with Luka and LeBron. Defensively, neither one of those two individuals gonna stop nobody. I don't really have no confidence in them. It's kind of harder coming out in terms of the West because, truthfully speaking, like, I'm not really confident in any of those teams. But if I just had to pick for the sake of picking, I'll probably say OKC because realistically, even though, the Lakers got Luka and they kind of been hot, of course, we're at the point of the year where, LeBron, he definitely low managing. He waiting until closer to the playoffs start. He going to come back at that point, and then he going to try to make a push, try to get back in shape towards the end of the regular season, and then playoffs start. And hopefully they get hot at the right time. Probably that's his thinking. But truthfully speaking, you got so many good teams in the West. It's kind of hard to pinpoint any one particular team. So I'm going to go with the team that and ordinarily I would have said the Minnesota Timberwolves based on what they did last year, but they ended up trading Karl Anthony Towns. Based on what they did last year, I would have said the Dallas Mavericks, but they ended up pulling their team up. Like I said, I'm not high on JJ Redick as a head coach. I'm not high on, the Lakers with Luka and LeBron because defensively, two of them individually can't stop a nosebleed. So I'm going to go with the OKC Thunder, and I think the Boston Celtics going to win it all, coming out the East.
Okay, you think you got the Celtics again? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and salute to Autism Boy. He thinks the Thunder's gonna win the NBA title. They could. They could.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong possibility. I think of course, I think SGA definitely the front runner to win a NBA MVP in my personal opinion. But even with that being said, I think the issue I have with the Oklahoma City Thunder is, if you talk about from a historical standpoint, teams like, we're gonna say like the Bulls, right? When they had MJ and they went on a run, went repeating, then MJ retired and he came back, and then they got knocked out, then they repeated again. Is a process. You don't just go from. I think maybe the Golden State Warriors might be the rare exception. Like you have to progress to a certain level. Like you got a good young team. Maybe that first year, you you make it out the first round. Then the next year you make it to the next round. You make it to the conference finals. Then you win the NBA championship at some point. They're still a young team, and it's just too many unknown variables in terms of unpredictability. If they had players that I could see, all right, hey, they got a Giannis on their team, they got a Kevin Durant, cool, but they're such a young team. I don't have that kind of confidence in them when the playoffs starts. I see them getting out the first round, and then after that, it's a crapshoot.
Okay. Okay. Um. Okay. And Anthony Bolton said, "I just want my Grizzlies to make it to the conference finals and beyond." Yeah, the Grizzlies are not doing too bad at all this year. They first in their conference, in the Southwest Conference at 43-25. What you think, Coach? Can you think they'll can make a little
Well, I
run?
mean, I think they could go on a little run. Cha, he a dude, but he another one. Uh, he been hurt. Well, first he had the injuries with the guns, and then after that, he got hurt. Because I remember even last year, the Pelicans were a playoff team, and he had been out for a while, and he came back. And the first time they played against the Pelicans up by like 20 points, and he brought them back, and they ended up winning that game. But the thing about it is, he ended up getting hurt again last year. In fact, the last couple of years, like more players have been getting hurt, especially like leading up to the playoffs and in the playoffs. Like even last year, like man, you had so many elite level players. Either I mean, it's one thing for players to be nicked up, but you had players that had like debilitating injuries, like he tore his ACL, he tore this, he tore that. Like you hadn't really seen that. I mean, yeah, the last couple of years, there a lot of players hurt, like with major injuries in playoff time. So I think if he could stay healthy, I think they definitely a team that could make a run. But like I said, the Western Conference is wide open. If you in the playoffs, it's a crapshoot.
Okay. Okay. And Francel Production said, "I agree. They are young. I think Boston are the favorites coming out of the East because of the experience. Yeah, and I also think that the Nuggets are the favorite coming out of the West. I hope I'm wrong."
Well, I think the issue I have with the Nuggets is, I'm not gonna lie, they won the championship, but last year, they didn't. Some of the players that were vital and key in winning them the championship, your Jeff Green type players, your Bruce Brown type players, like they don't have the same kind of depth that they had the year they won the championship. That's why, you know, they ended up getting bumped off last year in the playoffs. Now, bringing in Russell Westbrook was a shot in the arm, but they don't have the same kind of depth that they had the year they won the championship, and that's the issue with them.
Okay, okay. And Big Red said, if my guards can get it together, my Orlando Magic are a threat.
Yeah, I mean they're another team too. You got to realize they played against the Cavs last year in the first round of playoffs. They took them seven. Uh, they got a good young team, and but like I said, you got a lot of young teams in the East. Teams like the Cavs, the Pistons, the Magic. Those type of teams, young and they're unpredictable.
Yeah, you're right. But I agree with you, Coach. It is um, Boston may win it. They're the experienced team a little bit more deeper, but don't sleep on the like squads like Oklahoma and the Nuggets and squads like that. They may sneak up on them, but
Well, see, like I said, uh, with the Nuggets, the issue with them is depth. If they had the same kind of depth year before last when they won the NBA championship, I think they would be probably the front runner in the West. And in
hmm
terms of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think if you put them head to head with a team like the Nuggets, they're a deeper team and they got a lot of good young players, but they don't have that experience factor that a team like the Nuggets have. But since you got more good young players, it kind of reminded me a couple years ago when you had the Sacramento Kings playing against the Golden State Warriors in the first round. In terms of like players, you had De'Aaron Fox, you had Malik Monk, you had a lot of good young players, and they had a deeper team. But the Golden State Warriors had the experience. So it was kind of like a 50-50 type series. And when you got down to game seven, it took Steph Curry having, you know, uh, you know, an all-time great type performance, putting up like 50 points in the playoffs. That would push Golden State over the hump. But had Steph not played out his mind, the Sacramento Kings was going to win that series because they were a younger team, they had fresh legs, and they had more depth. Those things kind of, could kind of push you over the hump. And that's why if they was to get this, if I had to pick between those two teams now, like for example, like the Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, I'm gonna go with the Thunder because they're a deeper team, they're a young team, they're hungry, they got fresh legs. But if the Nuggets had the same kind of depth that OKC had, the same type of athleticism OKC had, I definitely pick the Nuggets because they would have the experience, but they just don't have the kind of depth that OKC has. But that's why I say the West is wild. Really, outside of maybe teams like, in all actuality, like the Celtics, I think that's why the Celtics the only real team you could say, hey, I think they're the favorite in winning the championship because the other teams that have championship experience, like the Bucks, like the Nuggets, they're missing something. Whereas you got teams like the Cavs and the Thunder, they have the depth, but they don't have the experience to go with it.
okay, okay, all right. And as far as college basketball, um, congratulations to the Norfolk State men's basketball team. They won their the MEAC championship, so they're heading to the tournament. Um, and coach, you said that for the women's, you
Of
said
course, for
go
the
ahead.
women, for the women, uh, Southern University Lady Jaguars, they won the regular season championship. Last Saturday, I went to the season finale for the men and women. The women won the regular season championship and they won the tournament championship. They beat Alcorn State by 20 points in a tournament championship game, so they're going to the NCAA tournament. However, the men
Congratulations.
the men had a first round bye in the first game they played. They lost to Grambling. Grambling upset them, and I'm thinking a lot of Grambling fans gonna come for me. It wasn't Grambling fans; it was Jackson State fans. So Jackson State fans, they was rubbing it in my face, but they ended up losing yesterday in the championship game against Alabama State. So Alabama State gonna go to the field of 68 more than likely, and they probably gonna have to play somebody else to get to the field of 64. Unfortunately, congratulations to Alabama State, but I would have preferred my Southern University men Jaguars team make it. But definitely congratulations to the Lady Jags for representing the Southern University well.
Southern dropped the ball, but the men's anyway. But congratulations to those Alabama State Hornets for winning the men's basketball title in the SWAC. Uh, but JB, I want to come to you and we can move on to the basically the main topic of the show. What's going on with your Tar? Well, it's my Tar Heels too, but I'm saying it like this. I want to hear your thoughts. What's going on with the Tar Heels?
Um, like I said, man, us losing Baycott last year, just realized how much he meant to the team defensively. We got some guys that can play defense, but they're not a defensive threat like Armando Baycott. Um, we got a lot of pick and roll type guys. We got one guy that can create his own offense. Got the dude name. He's a transfer from Notre Dame, I think. But he's like 6'8" though, so he's getting it. Like, I mean, we were struggling with offensive rebounds this year, and then we got two explosive guards, um, Jackson and Cadeau. Ian Jackson is a freshman. I think Cadeau is a
He's
sophomore, sophomore, junior. But they both turn the ball over, and they are always trying to shoot threes. So I see a lot of games this year where we shoot ourselves out the game, and they can't hold on to the ball. In the semifinal, the game in the ACC semifinal, we came back because I guess Coach Davis basically stopped just shooting the ball, and we attacked the basket because we're a very good team attacking the basket.
That's what we have.
We got great slashers, but unfortunately, with I think 30 seconds left, the young man missed the field goal. I think his name was Turbin. I believe he missed the field goal. Field goal. He missed the free throw. Excuse me.
Lubin.
He missed the free throw. Lubin. Excuse me. Lubin missed the free throw, and then you got
Jalen Withers.
Jalen Withers got a lane violation where he jumped.
Before
he jumped before the ball, was off the rim, and we turned the ball over to lose the game. And all Lubin had to do was just make two free throws, and we would have most likely won the game. And that's just been a Tar Heel season, But I'm just not a fan of Coach Davis.
That's how you gonna be. You beat me to what I was gonna say. Do you think Hubert Davis is that guy? Do you like his coaching methods?
I would say give him one more year, because I kind of knew we was gonna have this type of season because we had a lot of people leave, so we wasn't gonna have the same team what we did last year, where we was 1 or 2 games away from being. We was 1 game away from being in the Final Four, the Elite 8 or the Final Four. I can't remember. We lost to Alabama in I think the Sweet 16, I believe.
Yeah.
But I knew this year we were going to have a young team, or not even a young team, because we had a lot of transfer. The chemistry wasn't all the way there.
Right.
And this team didn't really play to their strengths this year. They were trying to jack up threes, and it showed with their record. Because they can really play with anybody in the nation. Because they came back within seconds and almost won the game, but just inexperience, man, and chemistry.
Yeah, it's definitely not the UNC Tar Heels of old. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely miss Roy Williams, man. But it is what it is. I know the Tar Heels, they have to wait and see if they're going to make it in, because there's some stipulations. But be honest with you, man, how they playing, they might not even make it to the Sweet 16, to be honest with you. Keep it total 100 with you.
Oh, March Madness? Yeah.
So, let alone March Madness. So, yeah. But before we move on, is there anything else y'all want to talk about or chop it up about?
Nah, that's it for me.
That's it for me, man.
All right. Let's talk about it, man. Blacks in wrestling, man. Coach, me and Coach decided to do this topic. You know, 'cause we sports channel, so we can talk about anything. And offline, man, and just off the air, I just remember us having like deep wrestling conversations. Blacks in wrestling. So I just wanted to bring it to the live. Um, Also, somebody, Coach sent me somebody's list of black wrestlers, a top 15, right? Somebody had JV. Listen to this. Somebody had Booker T 1, number 2 The Rock, number 3 Kofi Kingston, number 4 Mark Henry, number 5 Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moon in AEW, number 6 Junkyard Dog, number 7 Ron Simmons, number 8 Bobby Lashley, number 9 Bianca Belair, 10 Devon Dudley, Big E, number 11 12 Jacqueline, number 13 Naomi, number 14 Shelton Benjamin, number 15 Jazz. Now this is supposed to be the greatest black wrestlers ever, according to BET. Okay, so whoever created this list don't know the history of black wrestling, obviously. And this is coming from BET, because I don't see no Kamala, I don't see no Thunderbolt Patterson, I don't see no they got Junkyard Dog, I give them that.
Ernie Ladd,
Ernie Ladd,
Bobo Brazil.
Bobo Brazil, you know what I mean?
Hell, Coco Beware.
Coco Beware. This list was absolutely horrible. And Butch Reed, S.D. Jones, Tony Atlas,
Bad News Brown.
Bad News Brown. And you have to throw, he might be in the top, on that top 100 list, Ahmad Johnson, because historic, his career was short. He was the first Intercontinental Champion ever, black Intercontinental Champion in the WWE, in the WWE. So you have to put him there. So you have to put him on the list. So yeah, Go ahead, Coach.
And I'm not gonna lie, I like Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, my guy. But for him to be number 3, bro, he is way, 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 way too high.
Yeah.
He way too high. Ron Simmons should be much higher. In my opinion, Junkyard Dog should be higher.
Yes.
I think Jacqueline should be higher also.
Yes.
So I'm not gonna lie. To me, I think the thing they would have been better served in, they'd have been better served in expanding the number of spots on the list, so you can add in some historical guys like Ernie Ladd should be way, way, way up on this list. Ernie Ladd,
Butch Reed,
Bobo Brazil, like you said, SD
Rufus
Jones.
Freight Train Jones, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of those guys.
Thunderbolt Patterson.
Yeah, some of those guys should be up on this list. And like I said, I'm not knocking Kofi, but Kofi should be up there. He shouldn't be up that high. He should be further down. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know they can take into consideration. He a Grand Slam winner. He won a WWE championship. Cool.
But you gotta, go ahead.
But man, for him to be number 3, man, that's way too high.
Yeah, because you're missing out, and the reason why, because you're making a good point, and sorry for interrupting you. You missing out all the wrestlers who laid the groundwork, like the wrestlers had the humiliating gimmicks. You know what I mean? Like Kamala Harris, and we're gonna get into that.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna get into that about what blacks had to do in the wrestling. Kamala Harris, that was actually his name. I ain't talking about the president. James Kamala Harris, who had to act like a Uganda giant. You know what I mean? But he laid the ground. That was a humiliating gimmick, but he laid the groundwork. And people like that who laid the groundwork, man, they definitely need to be on the list. Uh, Tony Atlas, you know,
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
Rocky
Let's go.
Johnson.
Hey, let's go with Tony Evans. Now, I'm not gonna lie. People didn't like the Kamala gimmick, but to me, I could say, all right, cool. But when Tony Atlas was South by Simba, oh my effing goodness.
My man, boy.
I mean, the thing about it is, Kamala was Kamala. That ended up being the best gimmick of his career. He made money doing that Kamala gimmick. A lot of people were offended by it, but cool. But Tony Atlas did not have to be Saba Simba. What he claimed this was his story. He said that literally he was homeless and he was sleeping on a park bench. And he, of course, he didn't have a phone. He was saying that Vince McMahon contacted him. And people were like, hold up, how was he able to contact you if you were homeless and you were living on a park bench? He was saying that evidently he was, I think, maybe sleeping on the bench in Central Park or wherever. Evidently, they got a hold to some kind of police officer, and the police officer talked to him and said, "Hey, Vince McMahon," and he ended up getting a phone call. That's how he ended up going back to WWE. And when he came back, Vince McMahon wanted him to do this gimmick, and he was so destitute and in terms of he was broke and he had no money and he was homeless. He was willing to do whatever they made him do because he needed the money. And I'm like, come on, bro. Like, you already had a big enough name, but for you to come back as a spear chucking musclehead in 1990 or whatever it was, it's like, come on, man. I wouldn't even lie. They showed the debut of it like a few months back, and I watched it. Hey, people said it set black people back 200 years with no.
That was New Jack, and you know what? That story, the whole story that Tony Atlas claimed, or try to think people were gonna go with, man. And the reason why I'm saying it because this is their words, not mine. I don't know if Tony Atlas is lying or not, but I ain't gonna lie. This story sounds strange. According to New Jack and Ernest Cat Miller, Tony Atlas be lying, man.
Yeah.
He be lying. He be stressing the truth. Now I will say about him, a lot of people have said that said what his view, because he was there when Bruiser Brody got stabbed in Puerto Rico. Excuse me, he got deleted.
Cut. Yeah. Well, like 78 told us on episode 1 of the Black Man's Perspective. Y'all be certain Saturday at 10:30. Y'all can check out the Black Man's Perspective. But like he said, our respective channels aren't monetized yet. So, once we get to that point, like we could worry about that. But he was like, hey, we ain't got to worry about that. But like you said, when Bruiser Brody got cut and he ended up, passing, he was one of them that was there along with Dutch Mantel, so on and so forth.
Right, yeah. A lot of people have confirmed that his story has been true. The only people that said that it was false was like some rest in peace Black Bart. I know these are white wrestlers, but I enjoyed listening to his interviews. Rest in peace of Black Bart. He passed from complications to cancer a couple of months ago. But yeah, man. And we say all that to say this, man. A lot of the wrestling business is not easy. Racism is everywhere, and you're gonna have your haters. Did you hear about Jade Cargill actually having heat with basically almost all the female wrestlers, and like basically nobody hardly like her?
Well, from what I heard,
What's your thoughts on that?
This is my thoughts. Like you said, in the wrestling industry, to me, I don't think it's the wrestling industry in particular. I think this country that we live in, like we talk about it all the time, the cornerstone of it is white supremacy. So whether it's the slave trade, whether it's colonization, colonialism. At the end of the day, like white supremacy is the order of the day. And like you and I talk about behind the scenes, and just in particular, black people had to, like your Tony Atlases, like your Abdullah the Butchers, they had to do a lot of shucking and jiving and eating crap and so on and so forth, to get ahead in the wrestling business. And
Yeah.
evidently, a lot of people feel like Jade Cargill, they believe she's a Lex Luger type from the perspective of she has an incredible body, a phenomenal physique, but they feel like as a worker and as a wrestler, she's not that good. And pretty much the only reason why she has a position is because of her physique, and they believe she's given too much. Kind of like the Ahmed Johnsons of the world, the Lex Lugers of the world. Like, she has an incredible body, and that's it. And from what I heard in particular, it was Shayna Baszler that took offense to it or whatever. And the two of them had a little scrap backstage. And because of that,
Yep.
she's gotten a lot of heat because of it. And at the end of the day, I'm like, look, I feel like she's a draw. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when she was in AEW, I kind of felt like, yeah, that was legit. But, from a WWE perspective, even though I know a lot of people gonna be like not Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair carried her when they were tag team champions. Even with that being said, if you believe she's still that green, she's still that wet behind the ears, why not, have her work behind the scenes? Because I felt like she was too big a star to go to NXT, in my personal opinion. I feel like if y'all believe she that green, just continue to work with her behind the scenes with some veteran girls that can give her some pointers and tips and help her develop as a wrestler. But as far as the heat she's getting, me personally, I think it's unwarranted. I think it's probably chicks like Shayna Baszler who, even though she was an MMA fighter, as a professional wrestler, she's left a lot to be desired. And maybe she felt like she should be in the position that Jade Cargill is in, and maybe it's a little jealousy or a little envy,
And JB, you was saying how you share the same system as what Coach just explained, with the Ahmad Johnson situation. Even though it may be some differences, but as far as the nucleus of him being green, and a lot of people trying to say he hard to work with, there was a lot of jealousy there. What you?
Some of that, yeah, man. I think some of that may be true, and I think, well, half of that may be true, and half of it may be just jealousy. Like she coming in, she a draw, like Coach said, and a lot of them girls busted they behind there for years, and then here this girl come in from AEW,
Mm-hmm.
and she's getting over with Bianca. Yeah, you're gonna have jealousy. That's the same thing what Ahmad Johnson went through. That's not saying that Ahmad Johnson was perfect or he wasn't a jackass sometimes, but you had people that was jealous of Ahmad because he got, like Coach said, he got too much too quick.
Yeah, just imagine, you a black wrestler and you've been there for like more than 7 years, and then here come Ahmad Johnson or the Bianca Belairs, only been wrestling for 2 or 3 years, and you not being pushed.
You
So I'm
meant
not.
Cargill.
Excuse me, Jay Cargill. Excuse me, the Jay Cargill of the world, and you're not being pushed. So you can't tell me there's not going to be no jealousy involved with it, and not just from the black wrestlers.
Agreed.
Jay Barr said
I mean,
Teddy Long said Ric Flair called him a ninja. Yeah, I actually saw that interview. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Big Red, host of Big Boy Talk, said, I gotta be honest, Shayna was great in NXT, but when she went to the main roster, Vince ruined her. So I understand how watching new talent flourish under Triple H would piss people off.
yep. See, that's good. Well, look at it, man. we want to correct something.
And
We
JB, answer to this, man. He Big Red hosts a Big Boy Talk. Hamad Johnson had heat because he injured a lot of wrestlers in the ring. That sound like a, nation of domination rhetoric. But go ahead, JB. What you think
and
about it?
so did Vader. Him and Vader used to do the same thing. Vader, they used to call shooting on people. Hamad Johnson was a shooter. Big Van Vader was a shooter. That's why
Farouk
a
was a
lot of
shooter
people
too.
said they hate. Yes, Farouk was a shooter. A lot of people
No,
said
no,
that they hate.
I don't mean to
They
cut you
hate
off, bro.
wrestling. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say they were shooters. Somebody like a Kurt Angle or Scott Steiner, because they have an amateur background, are considered shooters. I think in those instances, like Vader and Ahmed Johnson, were just considered stiff. And I think with Ahmed, he was stiff because he was green and he really hadn't been in the business that long, you know.
No. Wrestlers would say that interviews rated that Vader will actually knock the hell out you on purpose.
Shoot.
Well,
Yeah, they
well,
said it was shooter.
well, all right. I understand what you're saying. Like, basically, they got real with it. But, you know, a lot of times when they talk about shooters, they talk about people that had amateur background and like kick ass for real. You was just saying that they were like overly stiff, like Road Warrior stiff, because they said the same thing with the Road Warriors. They was like, man, hey, they punch you, and it was like punching you for real. So
Yeah, that's what they
Right.
call shooters.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the way like Jim Cornette and other people use shooter, the term shooter, they met somebody like that could actual like wrestle, actually had an amateur background. What you were saying
Not.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, like what you were saying is they potatoing people, like instead of you just giving a fake Hulk Hogan punch, I'm gonna punch you in your face and I'm gonna punch you for real. So
Yeah.
so they were stiffing people, you know.
We saying the same thing. Yeah. You said
Yeah.
potatoing. That's different
Yeah.
verbiage I never heard of, but
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna use that. But
Yeah, that's what they. That's a term when you hit somebody in real life. I mean, like for real, instead of putting on the show. Um, but yeah, that's a lot of wrestlers who the interviews I saw, people like Vader or people who's the other ones, Bruiser Brody, they like to hit you for real during the matches. They call them shooters. And but we cut you off, JB. What were you saying about the Hamad Johnson having heat for injuring people?
yeah, man. It just he was stiff. You know, if you listen to brothers like what's Booker T brother name?
Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray.
Stevie Ray. He was stiff. A lot of people didn't like working with him, but
But you saying that's not fair because there were a lot of wrestlers that we like
man, it's a
Kevin
lot of
Nash
stiff
was
wrestlers.
stiff, Farouk was stiff, especially
And then you had,
Vader known for hurting people in the ring. Big
and
Van Vader.
I didn't look at when I used to watch him during the Rise War days. I didn't look at Ahmed Johnson as stiff because I remember he used to do front flips out the ring and stuff like that. And according to his interview, HBK told him not to do that because he said you were 300, 200, almost 300-pound man flipping, and all I got to do, and all I got is the kick. That's gonna make me look bad. So I don't know, Big Red, if they wanted him to be that stiff, or if that's just, like he's just a big strong guy that didn't know his own. I don't know.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
But
I kind of gather. I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but I kind of gather that same thing. You saying 200 some pounds? No, Vader was 300 some pounds, damn near 400 pounds. Yeah? And at some points in his career, he was over 400 pounds. And like you said, he did the Vader bomb. He was doing moonsaults and shit. Because Undertaker told his story on his podcast. He was like, Vader wanted to do either a Vader bomb or a moonsault on him, and he wanted Undertaker to be laying on the mat and catch him and sit up with him. He was like, "Man, you'll break my damn back doing that." You know what I'm saying? so yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't think he knew his own strength, and I think that's why the stories of him like breaking the dude the Thurman dude back and breaking people's necks and stuff like that. Yeah, because he didn't know his own strength. I mean, even when he was talking about in Japan, like him and Stan Hansen used to punch the piss out of each other for real. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man. But just going back to the topic, man. Um, yeah, a lot of these wrestlers have had to go through foolishness behind closed doors just to try to make it a career in wrestling. Um, I remember Stevie Ray said he's not going to the WWE, and I remember one interview he said that he saw how they treated his brother. That let me stay on task. They remember he was treating his brother, and he said, "I'm not doing that." You know what I mean? And Big Joe, he said, "Salute to the family leaving a winery." No, you fine, brother. You fine. And Anthony Bolton said that he another one. A lot of people, and this what you were saying, JB. If we gonna keep that same energy with him, you talk about Ahmad Johnson. Goldberg was known not only being stiff, hurting people because Bret the Hitman Hart, he had and to be fair, a lot of people have done interviews about Bret the Hitman Hart being a little
a whiny baby.
whiny baby, but Goldberg did basically
Kick him in the head in his
kick him
career.
into his Bret the Hitman Hart career. So stuff like that, man. So it keep that same energy. That's all you were saying, right, JB?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of big, strong, stiff dudes. They're not a Chris Benoit or Dean Malenko or William Regal, where I think that's what Coach was saying. The shooters, they actually got a wrestling background where they got technique. You know what I'm saying? I used to love watching Dean Malenko. They used to call him a man with 1,000 moves wrestle because he used to do all kind of moves and he wouldn't hurt his opponents or trying to hurt him. But and then you got guys like Goldberg
Like the Road Warriors.
Ahmad Johnson
The Road Warriors.
Vader. That's just strong. The Road Warriors just strong. They gonna slam you. They gonna run you into something. They gonna kick you, and you might get hurt. Heck, Brock Lesnar.
Oh, and Big Red got a point. He said, did y'all see the interview? Stevie Ray did the interview and about William Regal putting Goldberg in his place, basically.
Yeah, because William Regal was actually a wrestler, and he was trying to do that Goldberg stuff on. And Goldberg was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. But William Regal actually knew, in the WCW, but William Regal actually was a dude that he can hurt you in real life. I think he does also bare knuckle brawling. I think a brawler as well. He can actually hurt. So he wasn't scared of no Goldberg like that. Football player. Lift a lot of weights, but he actually out wrestled Goldberg.
Embarrassed.
He embarrassed him, and they didn't fire him like directly after that, but he ended up getting fired as a result of that. And of course, they had conflicting stories. William Regal said that he had been suspended, because he had substance abuse issues or whatever the case may be. And when he came back, they put him with Goldberg, and he was saying that Goldberg was green. Goldberg didn't know how to do anything because all he was having was squash matches. He'd just come in there and spear you, jackhammer, the match was over. Like that was like the whole match. So he didn't know how to have an extended 5, 6, 7, 8 minute match. And so so that was Steven Regal's side of the story was they told Steven Regal to have like a 5, 6 minute competitive match with Goldberg because all Goldberg was doing was just steamrolling people at the time. Whereas Goldberg felt like on his end, Regal was kind of stiff. Regal gave him a unprotected kick to the head, and then of course, people that were Bret Hart fans like this mug got nerve enough to say he gave somebody an unprotected kick to the head, but that's another story. And then you got people like Stevie Ray was like, we knew that when Goldberg got in the ring with William Regal, that William Regal was going to eat him alive because he was a very experienced wrestler, like you said. He was technically sound. He was fundamentally sound. And Goldberg was, as green as a blade of grass. So they knew it was a recipe for disaster. So at the end of the day, it seemed like, WCW was so dysfunctional in terms of the organization, the way they ran the organization, and the upper echelon people, upper echelon executives. Like, it was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misinformation. So it sounds like they told Goldberg one thing, they told William Regal another thing, and the end result is what you see in the match itself, where Goldberg, he looked lost, he don't know what the hell to do. William Regal said, I told him multiple times, like, hey, hit me, kick me, do something. Like, what you want to do? And he didn't know nothing. So Regal kind of led the whole match, and then as a result, he made Goldberg look bad as a result of it,
Yeah. Yeah, and he asked for it. But
no, and they didn't name names, but they said when he came back to the back, like, Eric Bischoff was fussing at him, and he was like, hey, I was only doing what I was told to do. The agent that isn't in that match, some people speculate that it might have been Terry Taylor. They was like, he never spoke up in defense of William Regal. He just kind of let Regal take the punishment, and it was like that was some cowardly type stuff to do, like if you told this man to do something and he didn't have the green light to do it, like why you didn't come to his defense, so.
yeah, man. Again, the politics in wrestling. A lot of people, only people who are true wrestling fans, man, they understand how nasty politics can be. Especially if you try to you make the gimmick look bad, the money, um, the money drawing gimmick or wrestler look bad, then you liable to lose your job.
And,
Yeah, I
and, keep,
remember that.
and keep it a
And
buck, bro, when you talk to politics, and it's just not wrestling industry, that's in real life in general,
yeah, it's everywhere. But a lot of people just think, a lot of the casuals that is not deep into it, they think, it's you just running a script and all you gotta do is get slammed, and that's it. But people don't know it's a, like you said, it's a everyday job, and it has politics. Um, Anthony Boat said, I remember when Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, it was the worst main event ever. Yeah, it was. Because both of them were stiff as.
No,
Anyway,
I mean, it's a bad matchup usually. When they used to talk about the Road Warriors for a team like the Road Warriors, you need a smaller team like the Midnight Express that can just jump around and bump around for them, so they could just storm around and so they could look like the super strong muscle heads and you the little flippy flying team that can fly around for them. But when you put like big muscle guy up against big muscle guy, it don't look as good. And not only that, another thing people don't realize, both Goldberg was leaving, and Brock Lesnar was leaving to go to NFL. So both of them were leaving. That's why the fans defecated all over the match. They didn't want Goldberg to win. They didn't want Brock Lesnar to win. Goldberg ended up winning, and Stone Cold ended up stunning both of them at the end of it.
yeah. Yeah, that was definitely hard to watch, man. And so you mentioned Abdullah the Butcher, man, and Abdullah the Butcher um was one of, everything in his life especially being a black person. You got to deal with coons. You got to deal with Sambos, man. And from what I heard, Abdullah the Butcher was the biggest Sambo at that time.
And I'm not gonna lie, until you brought that up to me behind the scenes, New Jack said that about him, and I went and I saw the video, and I was like, wow, I didn't know that. Because one thing I didn't know prior to you telling me some of this stuff, I didn't know Abdullah the Butcher was Canadian. I always
Yeah,
thought he was an American wrestler, so I found out he was Canadian, and then I found out what you told. And one thing that I find, one thing about YouTube, the way the algorithm is set up, just say I watch one of your live streams with us, then it might lead to my video, then it might lead to Brent Fox. Like, it kind of gives you videos kind of that's similar to the one you just watched. And one thing I didn't know was prevalent because there were so few black guys in the business at the time. Like you said, those were the trailblazers that kind of paved the way for these current guys that's way too high on the list, like Kofi Kingston. Like, those guys laid the foundation, the groundwork for these current black wrestlers. But the thing I didn't know was there were so few black guys back in those days. Like, usually you might only have one black guy in a territory, or maybe only one or two. And a lot of times those guys will protect their spot. Whether they were in a tag team like Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson, or it was a singles guy like Abdullah the Butcher or Tony Atlas. To give more context to the people that might not know what we're talking about. Basically, what New Jack was saying is, like Abdullah the Butcher and Tony Atlas, they were known for being coons and Sambos because those guys, they might be the only black guy in the territory. And they were just trying to protect their spot. Kind of like, I don't know if y'all ever saw a movie, an all-white movie with one black guy. They were synonymous for only getting one black guy per movie. And these guys were synonymous for protecting their spot, being the one black guy in their territory. And I'm not saying they went behind people back and told the promoter, hey, not to book any other black guys in this territory, but they did things to stay in the promoter's good graces and keep their spot being the only black guy in that territory, if it made sense,
yeah. And here's what I want to do real fast. I want to show everybody like an interview on YouTube that actually Kamala did shooting on Abdullah the Butcher. I thought it was hilarious. But just to give you an idea of what we talking about. Hold on one second. I see somebody in the background. Big Joe, what up, man?
What's good, family? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Peace and blessings.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I'm in.
Big Joe, we can hear you, bro.
In my bad. Sorry for my tardiness. You dig what I'm saying? Please, I'm just here so I don't get fined. You dig what I'm saying? My bad. You know what I mean? So, shout out to the
No,
family, man. How y'all doing this Sunday?
Man, we
we
blessed and
blessed,
highly
man.
favored. How you doing, Big Joe?
Bless, man. We chilling, bro.
I'm happy to hear that. No, I'm smooth, bro. Yeah, I had a little business meeting at a little winery spot. So, so
Man,
my bad for
bro.
being late. So, what's good? What's good
Hey,
with
that was
y'all?
much
What's
more
cracking?
important, bro.
Bro,
Hey,
Oh
man.
man. Hey,
we,
hey, bro, hey, man, y'all important too to me. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all
man,
important to me.
hey,
So
bro.
hey.
We
Hey,
appreciate it, man.
man, we appreciate you coming
Appreciate you.
through, and congratulations to you doing big things behind the scenes. We
Oh man.
appreciate brothers like you in the LDBC, and I saw you on the grill, smoking that meat, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Living life. From what
You
I can see, life is good for Big Joe Townsend. You dig what I'm saying?
oh man, hey, bro, hey, I'm trying to be like y'all, bro. I ain't nobody. I'm trying to be like Coach. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be like Jared. I'm trying to be like JB. I ain't nobody, brother. Hey.
Yes,
Well, we
sir.
Feel
Yes,
you,
appreciate
sir.
all
man.
your support, man. And Big Joe, we were just to catch you up, man. We were just having an open topic, man. Talk about sports, man, and uh, just in general, basketball, football, college football, NBA, and then now we're talking about blacks and wrestling, man. And we just talk about
Mm,
how complicated behind the scenes things can be for black wrestlers. So, for example, I was going to show everyone this video uh, about Kamala Harris had his views on Abdullah the Butcher. Watch this. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Kamala too. This big fat funk ass Abdullah the Butcher. I don't care a lot about Abdullah the Butcher because he had kept blacks out of Japan for years and he still do. Now he done had his run with his old big fat funky ass, and I tell him that to his face. I just get along with him when we own shows because they are not my shows, and I don't want a bad rep toward promoters, and I want to go when I go out of this business. I want to go out with a good name and not a name where I done kept other people from making a living.
Mm-hmm.
And Abdullah the Butcher is the one that gave Ben Peacock the name of Kamala too, took him to Japan and and used him because he didn't make a lot of money in Japan. I know exactly what he made. Ben Peacock didn't, because Abdullah the Butcher, when he takes people to Japan, he takes their money. He takes a certain percentage of their money, about 15% of their money, I think.
For getting them booked?
Yeah, for getting them booked. Yeah. And now I don't like Abdullah for that. He done asked me about coming down to his restaurant, but I don't want none of his funk ass ribs. Hell, I can buy me some damn ribs from somewhere else. But Abdullah ain't did nothing all his life but just fucked up the blacks and keep them from coming into Japan. Now he'll take whites there too, but they gonna be under him. But he don't have no control under those guys, and that's the way it was. This is what I know for a fact.
Now, how did you find out that Abdullah was keeping blacks out of Japan?
Because in 1980, when I went to Germany, this English promoter had asked me about coming to England, and the Japanese Baba was there in Germany. And Baba had some of his guys to ask me about coming to Japan. I was booked in Japan. We had made our deal in 1980 for $1,500 a week in 1980. And they had gave my date and everything. Then some of the Japanese boys came to me and told me, said, they wasn't lying. They said, Abdullah Butcher, you don't go Japan. And they told me the whole story about how Abdullah been keeping blacks out of Japan. And I hadn't been in the business but 2 years in. And I was talking to a lot of different guys after I got back to the States, and they told me, oh yeah, you'll learn a lot about Abdullah. So he been fucking people for years.
Why do you think that he would do that?
He want to be the only black over there. Excuse me. I have, but I went to Japan though. But he want to be the only black in Japan. And that way, that'll give him more power, or more recognition, or however you might put it. And he was over there in Japan. Yeah, so he used to tell Kamala too when he took him to Japan. He had full control over him. He tell him what to eat, what not to eat. He had Ben Peacock getting up, going to stores in the middle of the night, bringing him food back. But see, he knew he couldn't do me that way.
Right.
Yeah, and so he told Ben Peacock, said, look, sir, we don't want to bring this black guy in and that black. We want to be the only two blacks in Japan. Yeah, he told him that. I mean, Ben Peacock told me this. And he wasn't lying.
So he probably cost you. It could have been a pretty good spot over there.
Yeah, when I went to Japan, the first time I went to Japan, they asked me about coming into Japan. Abdullah was fired out from over there because they told him to cut down on his juice. And he kept it up. So they fired him. And when I first met Abdullah, to see him was in North Carolina when I did that thing with Magnum TA. And he was there. That was my first time ever just meeting him. And Abdullah told me, he said, look, what I want you to do for me, champ, when you go to Japan, is take some cigars over there and give them to Baba. Give them to Baba for me. He kissing ass then to get back in. His big funk ass had been fired from over there. And anyway, I told him, I said, Abdullah, you give me the cigars first. Oh, you take them by me. When I see you again, I'll give you the money. I said, I ain't buying no fucking cigars for no goddamn body. And I didn't either. I didn't buy the cigars. And I went on to Japan, but it wasn't long after that he was back in there. The mafia brought him back.
Really?
Yeah, the mafia brought him back. And I remember this one time in Japan, they had asked me about doing a job for Johnny Ace,
Hmm.
who works for Vince now.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, Johnny, I said, nothing against you, but I ain't doing a job for these goddamn Japs. I said, hell, they done promised me this and promised me that, and then they ain't fulfilling it. I'm just not doing it.
Hmm.
I said, but nothing against you. He said, well, I understand. You take care of yourself. So it was me, Ben Peacock, and Abdullah sitting in, us three blacks sitting in one dressing room together. We were the only one in
Well, you
there.
made it over there with Abdullah eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah, uh-huh. But he didn't book me there, though.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have went if he had a booked me. So we sitting there together, three black guys. So Abdullah, when I told the referee that I wasn't doing the job, and I told Johnny that I wasn't doing it, Abdullah got scared. I hadn't thought of nothing like this. Abdullah said, when everybody left out, he said, look, Kamala, now they gonna think I told you not to do the job. I said, how they gonna think that you told me that? I'm my own man. But they gonna think us three black guys sitting around, and they gonna think I told you to do it. Look, when the referee come back over here, he was begging me. Abdullah was begging me. Yeah, your big funk ass begged me. Uh, please, Kamala. When the referee come back, me and Ben we gonna act like we trying to get you to do the job. And then you said no, you ain't gonna do it. So they came back and they said, Baba said, please do the job for John Ace. I said, nope, I ain't doing it. And they Abdullah and him, Kamala, go on and do the job for it. It ain't gonna hurt you. Go on and do the job. I said, fuck you too.
Man, he kind of sound like Muhammad Ali when he talking.
uh, no, he's just a country boy from Mississippi. But anyway,
I
yeah,
told him that I was not going to eat them funky ass. That's what he sound like.
but fair use
R.I.P. to him,
YouTube.
though.
Rest in peace to
R.I.P. to
Kamala
him.
Harris, man. He died a couple of years back, man. Um, uh, but that's one of the examples. I was saying about, and Anthony Bolton said, Joe eat wine and cheese and crackers, parlaying. Yep, and
Oh no, man! I don't do the cheese and crackers. You know, lactose intolerant, brother. But yeah, something like that though. Something like that.
something like that. And he also said, "F them ribs, man." And yeah, Sam Bowler the butcher. Yeah, Sam Bowler the butcher, and ain't Abdullah the butcher from Canada. It's a rough year for Canada with all this stuff coming out. Yeah, but yeah, that's just an example of the politics and man, what was y'all thoughts on what y'all just saw? Starting with you, JB.
I already, me and you talk about it and done our research on it over the years, and I'm not surprised, man. You hear other black wrestlers talk about, man, when black wrestlers get their foot in the door. Unfortunately, you have some that don't want to bring others in, man, and it's just like any other thing, like football, basketball, any other sport where you have some blacks, unfortunately, with that mindset. So I'm not surprised, and I know Kamala's not lying, because you got too many people, too many black wrestlers, repeating the same thing. New Jack, Ray Candy. So yeah.
Yeah, man. And Coach, what's your thoughts?
I mean, it's sad, and like y'all brothers was saying, it's not just in the wrestling business. It happens in every area and every walk of life. Too many times, black people get in positions of power, and instead of using that power and influence to elevate and exalt another black person, what they do is they try to just keep the spots for themselves and keep anybody else out black. That's why I'm a huge proponent of, black entrepreneurship. And if you get in a position, to be a boss, then you put your people on, hiring all black people, because guess what? Like, we talked about this before, but I remember at my previous school, like this is in an urban area in Baton Rouge, real hood. There's diagonally across from the school, there was the library, and right next to the library was a corner store. And the corner store on one end was the first store in the shopping center. Man, don't you know they didn't have not one black business in that shopping center? You got them Arabs with the doggone Arabs with the corner store. Then next to that you got a laundromat. Then you got a nail shop, with them Asians. Then you got a Family Dollar, and then on the opposite end, some other Arabs have like a wing spot, that sells seafood and wings. And I'm like, bro, there's not one black business in this all black neighborhood. And of course, in each one of these places, you have one black person in there to kind of police the other black people that come in there. You know what I'm saying? I tell you that back at the corner store, they had a black guy behind the counter, but they had some black women that cooked in the back. So at the end of the day, like, it's just a reflection of what happens and what goes on in real life. I think, we need to be entrepreneurs. That's why I'm, really trying to exalt and push my entrepreneur endeavors to the next level. And more than anything, you really have to kind of get to the point where you if you have a business, you should hire black people, so on and so forth. Because, one thing my cousin Rude Dog, me and him used to tell me this all the time. He was like, man, they used to call me Punt. He was like, Punt, how come every time, we play Madden and you get a team, like all your coaches, all your front office people, and all your players black? I said, guess what? That's gonna be what I'm gonna do when I in real life when I'm in a position to have my own business. So that's why I have my mindset I have.
Right. Big Joe, what was your thoughts on the interview we just saw?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting interview. My biggest take I got out of this was, fuck them ribs. You know what I mean? So, as Coach was saying, I made ribs last night, and hey, I'm just saying, fuck them ribs. My ribs is better. No, I'm playing. But yeah, but unfortunately, we do have some black folks, who like to gatekeep, who like to be the only brother in the room. It makes them feel important, it makes them feel secure in their position. I feel like if you bring more black folks in there, then you ain't got no need for me, that kind of thing. So some folks like being the token Negro. You know what I mean? So like we always say, sports is a microcosm of society, so that does happen. But then there is brothers who put folks on too. On the flip side of that, I know Ahmed Johnson was always a good brother. Farouk was always a good brother, helping everybody out, bringing folks on. And now in today's wrestling, you see so many black girls in there now. It's crazy,
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, like in everyday life, my family has owned a business for 40 plus years. We've tried to put black folks on, but black folks is one of our has seemed to be some of our worst employees. Some of our best employees have been Mexicans. You know what I mean? So we've tried to put folks on, give them good positions, but they either don't want to work or they feel like because they're working for a black man that they don't have to, I ain't got to listen to what you say. You dig what
Mm.
I'm saying? So, you know, um, but, and even come down to the customers. Some of our best customers are people of other nationalities. Some of our black customers, we have some good ones, but we have some who always complain about the bill. Oh man, come on, man. Let me put half on it now. No, brother. This is a business here. This ain't Burlington Co-Factor. This ain't no layaway here, dog. It works both ways. But everybody I know that's helped me out in life has been black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of folks who put me on, have been black. And I have some partners who are Mexican, white, and other different nationalities, Asian. They look out for me too. You know what I mean? So, but it's not surprising that some folks don't want to help. But, there's a lot of folks who put folks on too. A lot of times those stories don't get talked about, that kind of gets overshadowed due to certain Negroes, who want to gatekeep.
And one thing to add on to what Joe said, that's one thing I never could stand. we always talk about the white man's ice being colder. However, one thing I always hated is when a black person has a business, black people always looking for a discount, always looking for the hookup. I'm like, hold up. When you go to the white people store, you're not saying, hey, could you take $5 off of this or $10 off of that or whatever? Could I, pay on half for this, that, and the third? Man, you should hook me up. Look out for. Like, hey, you don't tell that to the white folks, so why are you gonna do that to your people? You know what I'm saying? Patronize the black business the way you patronize the white business. But for some black people, that's too much like right. They don't see the bigger picture,
I have never seen Louis Vuitton have what they call that, a factory store. There's no Louis Vuitton factory store. It's full price, no sales, no employee discounts, no nothing. You know what I mean? So, and how much black folks is rocking Louis Vuitton and Gucci, you would swear it's on sale, but they paying full price and they brag about paying full price. Oh man, this costs 4,000. This costs 5,000. Man, this, you know what I mean? But when you come to Ray Ray's barbecue, oh man, $50 for some ribs. Oh, come on, dog.
Mm.
Come on, man. 50, man, come man. Where the $10 plates at? Meanwhile you wearing your $5,000 Louis Vuitton coat you paid full price for, and you post a picture online that you bought it. Hey, bro, hey, be
That's
like
true.
that, man.
That's true. And Anthony Bolton said the worst Sambo is the one dude who became a lead over you who makes $1 per hour more than you. Don't let that extra $40 a week get your ass whooped. Facts.
Facts.
And you got you and Jada6 said you got to catch the sales or stuff that's out of season. But yeah, man, and just imagine you being like a black person in a management type role, and then you got to deal with black folks who um, don't want to obey you or don't take you seriously because you're black. You know what I mean? But they don't do that to their white superiors. You know what I mean? So it's it's something that folks have to black folks have to deal with every day. But on the other hand, there's black folks out here that do look out. The only
True.
problem is we don't appreciate them. We treat them like they're supposed to do that. Oh, you supposed to do that for me. Ain't nobody supposed to give you nothing. Somebody just looking out for you. Oh yeah, Anthony Bolton said, "Remember, I'm gonna get you, sucker." When Chris Rock tried to pay for one reel with a pocket full of money. Yeah, that was black folks. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. I got a homeboy that cut hair, man, and he cut this older black dude's hair, and he's an owner of multiple properties, right? And he was just sitting there bragging, being a big braggart about can y'all hear me?
Yeah, bro, we can hear you.
Okay, because Big Joe said he couldn't hear me. All right, just want to make sure. Try to go in and go out. Okay, you can hear me. Okay, but like I was saying, there was this older black man that my homeboy he cuts hair. He's a barber, and he owns a lot of property. Very successful brother, and he in a chair, bragging and everything, and the haircuts are only $10, right? But it would have been cool if he would have gave my homeboy a tip, because my homeboy is in my opinion, one of the best barbers in Central Texas.
Oh, hold up, bro. I don't mean to cut you off. he charges $10 now. This was a while ago.
It was a while ago. This was
So
a
I
while
was
ago.
sick because a lot of places, man, if you're not paying $40 for a haircut, they was telling me the fact that I'm still paying $20. They was like, man, you go to Dallas and Houston and Atlanta and even like Baton Rouge, if you're not paying $40 for a haircut, you're not getting one.
Hey,
Right.
bro, out here in the Bay Area, my bad, bro. If I was talking over you, I couldn't hear you at all. Somehow I lost you, so my bad. Um, yeah, when I get my beard lined up, bro, it's $50 easily.
Yeah. But then again, he was at a my homeboy, he was cutting hair. He didn't get his barbershop license, so he was cutting hair without the
Oh, I
barbershop
got you.
license.
It was barber college or something.
Yeah, so he
He was
had a
learning.
barber shop, so they was charge, but he been cutting hair for years. He cold. He was just went ahead and finally, got the barber license or barber certificate. So nobody won't snitch on him, because that would happen. Somebody who was in competition with him snitched on him, say, hey, he cutting hair without a barber certificate. So he finally got.
Oh,
So
man.
yeah, it was an older black dude too. So
That's what we call a whole ass nigga.
yeah, exactly.
Big facts. Big
Yep.
facts.
So he at the barber college is $10 to get your hair cut at the barber college, but he's already cold. So the successful businessman, he bragging and everything, and it's basically normal. It's it's everybody usually give tips there to the dudes at the barber college. Homeboy got up, only paid his $10, and that's it. And I know that's his prerogative, but at the same time, you sitting there talking about how successful you are and everything, and homeboy just cut your hair amazingly, bro. Amazingly. Like you would have, like you said, coach, if you went to another bar, you probably would have been charged $50, $40, or $50 for it. Tip that brother. That same dude, all right? Funny how things work. You see how people are. That same dude, right? Went to where my homeboy currently, he's legit now. He's working for a barbershop. That same old man went to this white dude in that barbershop, gave him a tip. And they charge more than $30 or $40 there.
Man, that's sad, bro.
That's how we do each other, man. And I knew he wasn't lying.
That's sad business there, family.
Yeah, man. That's how we do each other. We treat each other like we're not valuable, like we supposed to treat you. As far on an individual level, you're supposed to treat me this way because I demand it. No, man. Respect is given and respect is earned. Yeah, man. But and my apologies if I'm going off on a tangent or went off to story time. But yeah, that just reminded me of that story. But on this, we about to wrap it up, fellas. Anything else y'all want to say, or it's pretty much an open topic show?
Yeah, we pretty much over. Like early, Big Joe, we talked about us getting DeAndre Hopkins and the Steelers getting Metcalf. And you got any perspective on that?
Yeah, well, it's good they got DK Metcalf, but who gonna throw the ball? Seems like they're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, which I think is a mistake. If you were gonna grab somebody, you should have grabbed Geno Smith. But you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, and now there's a possibility that at some point Russell Wilson gonna sign with somebody too. So then if Aaron Rodgers decides to retire, don't sign with you, then what you gonna do? But hey man, maybe they can bring back Mason Rudolph. I don't know. but yeah,
Damn.
man. No, the free agency has been dope. Shout out to all the players who didn't got paid. Myles Garrett. Shout out to Lawrence, who's with the Seahawks now. It seemed like the Niners then depleted their whole roster. They were so over the cap. So me interested to see who the real Brock Purdy gonna be. Shout out to the shit crop out there. But yeah, man. But one thing I will say, a lot of folks ain't talking about. Shout out to Clarissa Shields. She is not suspended. She has been cleared of all the bull crap. Everybody's saying she's on PEDs and she smoked weed and everything. She has been cleared, and everybody's quiet. So salute to the GOAT.
Make it be known.
We know the double standard because Ryan Garcia, a whole drug cheat out here. Tyson Fury, a whole drug cheat out here. And they ain't had no smoke for them. So I didn't want to hear the BS anyway to keep it a buck.
Facts.
Facts, man. But
shout out to the GOAT.
Shout out to the GOAT. But y'all, man, I'm about to go.
Yeah. Also,
go ahead.
Since we speaking on sisters getting their name clear, shout out to Lisa Bumgarner. Look at here, baby. Look at here. I know you ain't do no wrong, baby. I know folks are just talking about you like that. Baby, you too fine to be doing all that kind of stuff anyway. So, baby, I knew you was innocent. I ain't have to worry about you. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Back to you, John. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Alicia Baumgartner is fine, though. I ain't gonna lie.
She a little slim for me though. You know what I mean? You know what? I ain't gonna say nothing else. I'm gonna say I'm not a small guy. I need some at least 160 and above. You know what I mean? Because the old saying go, it's gonna hurt me more than it hurt you. Dig what I'm saying? I need a little meat on it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, behind the scenes we had a little conversation between Alicia Baumgartner versus Clarissa Shields. Both in the ring and out the ring, but from an outer ring standpoint, I think Alicia Baumgartner she on the pretty side, whereas Clarissa Shields fine, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Clarissa definitely getting thick. She poking out there, you know what I mean? She get yes, sir. Yeah, that weight doing her good. I know that she's doing good.
I ain't gonna lie, a lot of real dudes, man, know the difference between pretty and fine.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean,
yes, Lord, she blessed.
My only hang up with Clarissa was all the masculine energy. You talking about you could beat up Keith Thurman. I'm like, baby, Keith Thurman would knock you out. Leave that boy alone, man.
Look here, baby. You ain't got to hit no man, baby. I'll do it for you. Look here, baby. You too fine to be here. Yeah, come on, baby. Come on.
Sparring men and then the dude knocking her out. She gonna go to the whip to get the shank. I'm like, come on, baby, you're doing too much now.
Yeah, that's how you know she been really in the streets like that for real. She got them. Some of them instincts is hard to break, even for a chick. Even the most masculine chick, it take them a while for them to break down. Then they gotta get with like a real man. Perfect example. Shout out to the family. CC and Black. CC had to get with Black to kind of break down and break out that masculinity. Cause Black a real black man. You dig what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
When you got a hood chick like that, bro. It's hard to, it's like I don't want everybody to say this analogy wrong. It's kind of like a wild horse. If you don't break that wild horse, it's just gonna keep on being wild. You dig what I'm saying? So
that's a perfect analogy, Big Joe. And happy birthday to Black Fight fan if you're hearing.
Yeah,
already. Yeah, salute the cuz. Yeah, sir.
Happy birthday.
Absolutely, man. But anything else before we wrap it up? I don't want to. All right, I guess not. Well, Coach, let everybody know where they can meet you and see you.
You could catch me. Of course, it is. I'm Black Excellence personified. But you could catch me at Coach 67 Sports TV on all social media platforms. However, I'm primarily here on YouTube. Talk about a lot of Southern University. However, I think later on today, either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna do a little bit of boxing. You know what I'm saying? So all my LDBC families, come check me out. Y'all have a blessed and phenomenal evening. Blessed work week. I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Oh, and be certain, episode 2 of The Black Man's Perspective, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Y'all be back on this channel to come check it out. Y'all have a blessed work week, blessed and phenomenal weekend, blessed day, peace and blessing to the family, you dig?
All right, Big Joe, let everyone know where they can meet you and see you, man.
Yes, sir. You can catch me on all LDBC platforms, standing on LDBC business, supporting the family of the brothers and sisters,
You dig?
who have groups. You feel me? You can catch me everywhere like air. You dig what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Hey, bro, for all you brothers out there who want to smell good and smell great, and nothing wrong with buying some cologne. But once you get to an advanced stage of wearing cologne, there's something called layering. Layering is when you get one or two fragrances together and you combine them together to kind of create your own signature scent. Every man should have their own signature scent. You can accomplish that with just one. But a lot of times, a lot of men they wear the same cologne. There's a lot of men out there who wear Dior Sauvage. There's a lot of men out there who wear Chanel Blue. But if you combine Chanel Blue with something else, you have your own signature scent that nobody else gonna have, and it will separate you from everybody else. So all you brothers out there, look into layering different notes and find out what works for you. I holla.
Oh, hey, we got to get the channel, Big Joe, because you giving too much dope game, you
For
know.
real.
Oh man, hey, oh man, hey, hey, I can give out much game as they want to. They still can't beat me. You dig what I'm saying?
Oh no, I already know. I already know what time it is, and go tell them go get them a bottle of Old Hillside too while they at it, you know.
You know what? You're right. My bad. I'm sorry. If anybody's into drinking, if you like drinking cognac, brandies, and all that kind of stuff, check out Old Hillside Bourbon Company. It's a black-owned bourbon company that they have distillered in Kentucky. I'm not a part of the company yet. That's my partner's company. I may move on and add on and invest later on, but if you're looking for some good whiskey, if you love Uncle Nearest, then you're gonna love Old Hillside Bourbon. You can catch it at your local Total Wine and Moors. You can catch it at Beverages and More, or anywhere you need to. Just Google Old Hillside Bourbon Company. They recently released a bottle, signature bottle that is celebrating all the historic women in horse racing. So all the first black women who got into horse racing in the early 1900s, that signature bottle dedicated to them. So this is a black business who's supporting and exploring black history and showcasing black history to the masses and bringing out stories that we wouldn't hear unless black folks talk about it, because we know them folks like to suppress our history. So Old Hillside Bourbon, black owned, operated by black folks. Everybody on the council is black folks. You even can buy your bottle at Whole Foods. Old Hillside Bourbon. If you like Uncle Nearest, you're gonna like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all go do what Big Joe says. He know what he talking about. And lastly, JB, any final words so we can get out of here?
Hey man, y'all have a great work week. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I'll catch you when we catch you, man. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed rest of your Sunday. This is another installment of the Southern Baller Show, episode 75. Y'all be easy.